But anytime you have a program where you can get the kids and the families involved, that is amazing, on top of it being so focused on Hawaiian culture.
E mako ma'ane'ima Molokaʻi. E wau me ka punana leo o Molokaʻi, na keiki punana leo Molokaʻi. Aua huakaʻi mako ia neʻi e kapala na lima ma nuno kia paia. He mea kaia ʻōlelo keia me ke kaia ulu, me na haumana, me na makua, na ʻohana, ʻōlelo Hawaiʻi a ke kaia ulu apau. Mahalo.
Aloha mai, I'm Opu'ulani Albino and so happy to be here to witness the beautiful mural that's coming up at the high school. Here in the court, it reminds us every time we pass, even if it's on the road, and more especially if we're here, this is the mo'olelo of Molokaʻi, that we love others and we welcome. And these are the elements of our welcome. The mahana, the warmth, is portrayed here with the pua na'u that once grew abundantly in the district of Mahana. And I'm grateful to see the elements of uwala. And sweet potato grows well on Molokaʻi. And this is a lei kalina that is a symbol of welcome. When you come to a home, we have that fragrant sweet potato kalina waiting for you. And it talks about the welcome. On behalf of the kupuna of Molokaʻi, Mo'olelo past and yet alive, it still lives because we have decided to keep it alive. In the back of me is the pahu. It represents for us the leo akua. On Molokaʻi, the traditions, especially in hula, were always with the pahu and not the ipu. So this is representative of the lei akua. And as we look at the mural, I look at the huge raindrops. It reminds me of this place, Naiva, where our kupuna, who came from Waikapu, were plagued with drought here in the Ho'olihua Pala'au area. And it was told to them by the people of Molokaʻi that there was a cursed place on the land because of the rains that fell that were huge. And Pau'ule'a was a brother of Nanahoa, played tricks on his sister and wouldn't let her dry her kapa, and so she went to seek a kahuna who made a large imu, ka'umukalua'ua, to bury the raindrops, and our kupuna came to pray, lift the curse, to walk the rain back to Ho'olihua, to open up the land for homesteading. And I'm happy to see the raindrops that were huge at one time. Mo'olelo of ka'umukalua'ua is portrayed here, and they're symbolic of the work that was done by kupuna to grow and to produce on Aina Ho'opulapula, which is a part of this mural. And it was put together, this oli, by descendants of those first settlers who settled in Ho'olihua from Waikapu. Now this lei kalina that we're looking at is very important to us. It tells of the mo'olelo of Ha'a Kawahine Puhiuhio, who helped the women who planted in the Pala'au area the sweet potato vines, and she came with the wind and the rain. So Hailelua is the olelo no'ea that we use. When we look at the rain, and how it drenches the land and the uala is allowed to grow. And it was the women who used it because it also increased the production of milk to produce food along with the uala to nourish our moʻopuna. And we see this plating and the uala that is the foundation of many Molokaʻi moʻolelo. The uala, taken in the context of our language, uaala. Even though this humble fruit is placed in the ground, the lepo, it produces from humble beginnings the most ono fruit that provided life and sustenance to our kupuna and generations from the time of a great plague on Molokaʻi. When I look at the painting of portrayal of Haʻihaiku, I am really grateful that he's central in here because that's exactly what we want the people to feel, that the wealth that we share is from kahiko, and the wealth and knowledge of the kupuna are here, and we're trying to retain and maintain whatever we have that's left of our fragmented history. There at the center of the mural is a great man, giant in stature, named Haʻihaiku, who heard the cries of the people of this area, and with a tender heart and love for them, he came with water, kawai kapu, from where he lived in Haupu, deep in Pelekunu, where the water was pure, and he brought it and he gave it to them, and he said, this is to plant uala, because along with the water he brought uala. And so with the kalina lau uala, they planted, and the uala grew, fed the people, and he gave one condition though, that whoever is hungry, you may feed them until they fill, and do not ever withhold the uala. The time came when the people became prideful, and they held back the food from those who hungered. And so the uala, which is a huge mountain called Pu'ukuala, became what we now know as Kualapu'u. There is a change, so now it is called Kualapu'u, but the original name was Pu'ukuala. And we see how the fine mat, also mo'olelo of Iloli, whose mat was finely woven, which was the best. It's a Waipilihoa design, and in Hawaiʻi it was favored. And when you gave that gift to someone who got married or anyone, it was highly prized. And so we look at Hina, and we look at Molokaʻi as a child, great child of Hina. And I see at the closing of our mural the many poʻealoha in the kai, poʻoloʻoloʻu, field of fish, a metaphor of the bountiful land of Molokaʻi, also called Aina Momono, and the people, the kupuna, who carried on their backs and are called the leimomi, because they carry us still on their backs. Mahalo nui to you, my dear painters, my dear keiki kane and kekamahine, who came to Molokaʻi and gave us this beautiful gift. God bless you fools, and holomua me ka oko hana, ka oko kumuhana, kia kupu me oko. From my heart, I thank you. Mahalo nui. I would like to mahalo and to memorialize a very special young man in my life who always joined in all of the cultural activities and invited himself to many of our family gatherings. To you, Kaimana, i ka moe kapu. Poli aloha o ke aku mana loa, ao, a o he po, he a ma lama no e Kaimana, me ke aloha nui pau ole, a hiki mai ka la, e aloho a hui pū me oe, me ke aloha mau, aloha.